Welcome to the Media Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabunker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And unbeknownst to our Shaw TV viewers, we just had a 20-minute discussion about Curb Your Enthusiasm, which will never see the light of day.
Off the grid.
We'll never see the light of day. And I'm just happy that it's over, so now I can cancel my HBO subscription again until Westworld starts. That's what I do. There's no point in paying for HBO until Westworld comes back.
I love everything on HBO. I even like the lame Canadian stuff they put on there.
But there's nothing on right now. What's on right now over the holidays?
There was, Curb.
Yeah, but it's done.
Oh, you mean now what's on?
Well, I mean, what's on till Westworld? Like, what is there really?
There'll be some good documentary. There might be a boxing match. I don't know. There's lots of stuff on HBO.
All right.
Boxing. That's my answer.
Is that what's going to be on your wish list today? Today we're going to do our holiday media wish list on the episode. So we're going to have a bit of a break coming up. Of course, we're swamped in marking here at the college and tests and finishing up the semester with our students. But
stress.
After next week, we're off for like a weekish. We get about a week off. And so that's a great time to catch up on a lot of stuff. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on as far as what we want to watch.
I've got a massive list in front of me.
Listen to.
Yeah. There's no bloody way we'll ever get to everything on our list, I'm guessing.
Probably not, but it's nice to have goals.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to.
First, I have to read 700 tests.
Right. There's that.
Then
too.
I can sit down and read a novel.
Yes, exactly.
After that, yeah.
But before we get into that, let's talk about some nerd news.
All right.
So this deal that's coming up with Disney. Now, it was rumored that Disney is looking to acquire Fox. Mm-hmm. Then the rumors became more substantial. Now we're hearing, and this is as of today, December 7th, when we're recording this, that it is a done deal, and they're just working out some details and the legalese, and they could announce this as early as next week. So Disney is poised to acquire Fox, the entire property of Fox, be it Fox Movie Studio, Fox News, Fox TV, everything is going to fall under the Disney banner. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, that means we can finally have a Star Wars box set for all of them, so that's good.
Oh, there's that. Yes, that's right. I didn't even think about that.
That is the bright side of this.
Because Fox still owns the rights to the first one. They're always going to have that, so Disney gets that.
So in some ways, for the Star Wars fan, which of course we are, we just did our podcast on it.
Star Wars nerds, yeah.
Yeah, so we just did that. So from that perspective, that's interesting. What were you thinking?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that jumps out at everybody is that they're finally going to be bringing the X-Men and Fantastic Four back into the Marvel Universe. So that part is... comic book fans are happy about that. Now, there are other people are saying, and I've seen some clickbaity kind of headlines saying Ryan Reynolds is upset because he doesn't think Disney's going to allow Deadpool to continue. I don't think that's the case. I think that there's Disney owns studios. Disney owns almost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they're going to own half of Hollywood.
They own entertainment.
Right. So, but they allow. It's not like everything on their portfolio is all PG-13 or lower. They do have some R-rated titles that they produce. I can't think of any right now, but I'm sure they do have those. And they're not, it's not under the Disney, certainly they wouldn't release an R-rated movie under the Disney brand, but under Fox, why not? It's still going to say Fox. It's not going to say anything other than that.
No, they're not going to show Magical Kingdom with Mickey and Tinkerbell zooming around like that.
That's Disney. That's not Fox.
Right. They're not going to show. It's not like they're going to brand everything with that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is kind of, only worrisome thing to me is to see, like, it's again, the more of these mergers where these companies, one company owns a lot of stuff, and it's really like, and now they've done a good job. They bought Marvel. They've done a good job with Marvel. They bought Star Wars. They've done a good job with Star Wars, one could say. And they're basically, they're the parent company and still allowing these studios to work independently is, from what I've heard, kind of their modus operandi. But, I just kind of worry about like everybody owning everything. That's always kind of the concern. Big, huge media conglomerate, and
that's the world we live in.
Yeah, and I know it is, but then everything becomes kind of consolidated under one thing, and then you lose the appeal to niche audiences. They still want to be mass appeal, and that's where good ideas get watered down, is when they want to kind of appeal to a mass audience. So we'll see. One
of the weird things about the world we live in, speaking of that, is so you have YouTube, and you've got Disney produced content on YouTube.
Yep, they own Maker Studios.
You've got individuals who can create their own content from their home. So it's a weird media world where you've got this conglomerate and more than one kind of buying up everything. And then you have like a billion micro niche kinds of entertainment popping up everywhere because it can be done.
Yeah, because you can find a niche audience. You can be successful with a smaller audience. And I think I hope Disney recognizes that. Where they're running into issues is that YouTube is kind of built on the same philosophy as the internet, in that people are just being themselves. They can do and say what they want. And that's, they've gotten into some hot water with someone like PewDiePie, who was under their banner on Maker Studios until he's made some inappropriate comments about, I think it was Nazis or something. I don't remember what it was. It was something about Nazis or Aryan race or something like that, some white supremacist type of statements. And that got him booted from their network. So he's still making videos. He's still on YouTube. He's still got millions of subscribers, most subscribed channel on YouTube. But he's no longer under their Disney banner because they don't want that kind of person working for them, which is understandable.
Right.
But he's still a successful YouTuber. So
yeah, and speaking of yesterday, this is sort of, I guess, somewhat related. That Apple TV just added Amazon Prime for the first time ever. Did you see that?
I saw that, and I also saw a friend of mine posting to say that Amazon Fire TV, my friend uses that to stream YouTube, does not stream YouTube anymore. So Apple Google is getting along with Amazon is getting along with Apple, but not getting along with Google. That's what we're seeing. So and I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, that's an interesting change.
The first thing I did was see if is Amazon Prime available in Canada on Apple TV, and sure enough, it is.
Yeah.
So I downloaded it yesterday, and maybe I might do it. I'm gonna see. So,
I tried it out. I did the free trial, and then I just canceled it. I should have kept it because now, of course, Christmas is coming, and I'm getting a bunch of stuff from Amazon. So I could have used that Prime membership. I just didn't bother with it.
I want to see Man in the High Castle, and I want to see Mozart in the Jungle is another one that you cannot find anywhere. Like it won.
When what was the other one called? Show Me died.
Yeah.
That took away our access to Amazon content because they were like the contract for Amazon stuff in Canada. And now they had Transparent and all those other ones, and now they don't have that.
And suddenly Showcase is picking up. That's a Canadian network. They're picking up all the Hulu.
Yes,
stuff.
They are. But that was always the case.
In addition to Transparent, which is Amazon.
Right.
So there might be some. I'm sort of holding off because I'm like, maybe Showcase.
Well, it does like that stuff shows up on Crave TV because Crave TV is still going, right?
Right.
So that kind of stuff, HBO stuff shows up there, although not the newer stuff. But if you want to catch up on old HBO series, Crave TV is a good thing to go.
You can watch The Sopranos. You haven't watched The Sopranos, right?
No, I haven't. I've only seen a handful of episodes.
I gotta watch it.
Here's the real problem with it, though, and we're getting a little off topic, but that's okay. The Crave TV, I have a subscription. I pay $5 a month for Crave. It's just on my bill. I never watch it because it's not on my TV. There is no app for Crave TV on my Apple TV. I think there isn't. I should double check that.
Oh wait, I had one on there. Does it still exist?
I've not been using my Apple TV, to be honest. I use my cable box. Now gives me access to Netflix and everything else. So but I wish that, Crave TV is owned by Bell, so they should be giving me a Crave TV channel. Just the way they have a Netflix channel, if they're going to offer that to me as a service as part of my bill, they should offer me that. I'm also noticing that more and more people, Shaw TV's got a deal now where they're offering free Netflix for 6 months.
Yeah.
You sign with them. So now Shaw, they're now big cable, they hated Netflix and now they're just embracing it because they know they can't fight it.
Well, now it's that's right.
It's just another channel for them.
And it's also, and I've also found like with people like my mom and my stepdad, they have Netflix because I signed them up for it, and they get it on their bill, but they're still a little sketchy in terms of actually going to that Apple TV and taking the trouble to actually watch it.
Yeah.
To them, TV is still TV, and to actually have that on the TV would probably solve a lot of problems. They do need an all-in-one box. And some people would argue, there are the Roku boxes or whatever out there, but we have for us, our DVD player also plays YouTube, so we have that, but we also have to switch the channel over to the other HD channel, find the other remote, which always gets lost because it's too small, and it's kind of a pain to watch YouTube on that. So we also need YouTube on our cable. We need one cable box with everything on it, and I think we're going there. We'll get in there eventually. Google is offering cable TV service with YouTube included in some states. Now they're testing that out. I don't think we'll get it up here, obviously, but that's something that they're getting into. So now people will be able to get YouTube on their TVs with everything else. So it's a changing world, and we're just we're along for the ride. I don't know how we got to this topic off of the Fox Disney thing. Well, because it's all. The Amazon Apple kind of plays into that in a way. It's more like who's getting along with who's buying whom, and all of that stuff, and it just changes daily.
So I don't think that Apple, I always suspected that Apple might jump into the whole streaming service itself, but I don't think they're going to. I think they've got iTunes, which is kind of like their streaming service. So you can rent. I just wish you could pay like a monthly fee. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe that's what they'll do. Monthly fee for iTunes access. What do you think?
To rent movies.
Yeah.
I'd be so happy with that.
How much would you pay for that? Think about remember Movie Village used to have the deal where you pay $20 a month and you can rent as many movies as you want?
I'd say about $30 would be worth it.
$30 a month and rent whatever you want for that month.
Oh, that'd be well worth it.
I think that they would get more people signing up for that.
Because I probably give them about $24 a month with the movies.
I don't give them that much a month.
Oh,
I usually, if I rent movies, I rent it through my on-demand service, not through iTunes.
If I knew that I could give them 30 and watch unlimited, I definitely would. Probably
Yeah.
50. I might even do 50.
Ooh, wow.
But that's premium. That's the highest I'd go.
Well, then you would have to get early access to the ones that are you could have tiers as well, right? You could have like the basic tier, which is like older releases, and you can have another tier which is like stuff that's been out for a while. You have the newest tier, which is like the stuff you get pre-release, like whatever Thor Ragnarok comes out. It comes out like a week early on demand on iTunes, and then you get access to that. So there you go. Call us, Apple. We got ideas.
We have ideas.
All right. Before we go to our main topic, I do want to talk about something else. I thought it'd be interesting to look up and see what the popular toy is for Christmas this year.
Oh, I know what it is.
Do you know what it is? The fingerling.
Fingerling, yeah.
Thank God my daughter already has one. We got one for her for her birthday.
Oh, my God.
And this, I got to tell you, as far as annoying toys go, this is up there. This is up there with the most annoying toys that I've ever encountered. It's a little monkey that sits on your finger, and it goes, and it turns its head, and it's supposed to be interactive. You can make it fart, you can make it burp, of course, because kids love that stuff. But yeah, it just baffles me as to why this. And Shannon says she wants another one. I'm like, no, you've already got one. I'm gonna buy you another one of those. Like, it's, oh man.
And NBC Nightly News did a thing on it this week, and it's like the classic toy before Christmas story that nobody has. And they showed this sort of sad sack guy in his living room going, I wanted to get this for my sister. I can't remember who it is. My niece or something like that. And so they show him looking sad on his couch. And then they're like, they can go, this one is $5,000 on eBay. And this one is, and so they're showing like the vast range. And then the story ends with him going, I got it for $400.
Oh my God.
Or something, and they show him wrapping the gift. And you could just see the behind the scenes, like, could you wrap it for us? And the guy's like, I don't have any wrapping paper.
Here you go.
We brought some. Yeah, that's right. We need a shot of you wrapping this gift. Okay. And he's like folding it, looking sheepishly at the camera.
Oh man.
So it was that whole story. but it was funny because then they did the cost comparison on different platforms.
Okay.
And stuff, and it looks like, what I thought the second I saw that back in the day, what I would have done, because usually Winnipeg is behind everywhere else.
And to be honest, I was able to get, like, in May when it was Shannon's birthday, tons on the shelves, no problem. Yeah. So we had no problem. She was very excited to get that.
I would have gone back in the day. What I would have done is hop in the car and race to Toys R Us or wherever else. I would have bought them all up and then sold them on eBay before the time. That's what people are doing.
But there's so many dumb toys out there. I have no sense of what's going to hit it or not. Like last year was the Hatchimals, which is the big toy.
I thought they were called Hatchkins. Am I
wrong?
No,
that's Shopkins. You're talking about Shopkins.
Oh, okay. Well,
Hatchkins or Hatchimals are
they're Hatchimals.
Yeah, it's a little thing that hatches out of an egg. And I tell you, about 2 minutes after that thing hatched, she had no interest in it. She got it. It hatched. Woohoo! Now she's on to the next thing.
Last year they showed that same guy sitting in his living room going, it won't hatch. I bought it for $700 and my Hatchimal won't.
This year the Hatchimal gimmick, and the thing is they try to capture lightning twice, right? So the Hatchimal gimmick this year is that there's twins. There's two creatures in the egg. So two things are going to hatch out of there. And that's like, it's twice as useless when the kid stops
that
playing
sounds like
with
Jurassic Park 2. Now.
We should look at that up. We're going to get a trailer for that today.
Jurassic Park?
Jurassic World 2 is supposed to be a trailer dropping today.
Well, if it's half as good as the original, we're all in big trouble.
Oh, man. Who is it? Jurassic World 2, first look trailer. No, that's not it. That's not out yet.
No,
anyway.
Just a bunch of trolls trying to take credit for it.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of stuff like that. All right, so that's going to do it for the nerd news. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about our favorite, or our media wish list for Christmas 2017. holidays are coming. We've got a little bit of rest and relaxation, although it's not really for me. We're hosting Christmas dinner this year, so it's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be like Christmas vacation level madhouse, which I'm kind of looking forward to because I love that movie. But oh man,
my favorite part of Christmas is the guilt trip by mom, which starts around September.
Okay,
it starts around the first day of fall, I think, and then the guilt just continues to increase as you get closer to the magical day.
It's an interesting thing. This year, both grandmas are going to be in town. My wife's mom and my mom. Well, my mom lives here, but my mom is actually flying out on Christmas Day to go visit my brother in Japan because he just had another baby. His wife had another baby. So so she's going to see the new baby, and she's going to be traveling on Christmas Day. And my in-laws are also traveling back to BC on Christmas Day because it's the only flight they could get.
Oh,
so that's just an awful way to spend Christmas. So we're going to do the big thing. Christmas Eve is going to be our big thing. Christmas Eve, everyone will come over.
Better that way.
And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And then in the morning, we'll do like Santa will come and all that other stuff. So anyway, okay. So what do you want to start off with? We have different options towards this. What is your first thing on the list?
Well, it could be anything, but why don't we start with music? Because I have one.
I won't have anything because I don't listen to music.
All right, I do listen to music, and one of the things I got excited about, what I've been doing lately is because, as you know, I still will buy CDs.
You bet.
I know. I'm the guy.
Stick with it. Stand your ground.
I am bankrolling Music Trader and Into the Music.
There you go.
I'm bankrolling those operations. And so what I've been doing lately is I'm starting to see, and of course, there's stuff that's not available on iTunes. It's just that's the fact that there's certain things from certain eras that you just can't find. And so I've been slowly going through, as I show up and use CD stores, I've been sort of buying, particularly music from when I was in high school, which is 1985 is when I graduated. So I've been buying lots of older 80s bands, and certain bands are popping into my head. I'm like, whatever happened to this one? And whatever happened to that one? And one of the ones that I checked is a band called the Jazz Butcher. Do you know who they are?
No, I've never heard of them.
Okay, the Jazz Butcher, British band from the 80s.
I like the name though.
Yeah, great name. And they had a song, and if folks want to check out the song, the one that people might have heard of is called Southern Mark Smith. Southern Mark Smith. And you got to see it. And it's classic 80s, like kind of gimmicky, catchy, funny, new wavy. And I was like, whatever happened to those guys? And like as if by magic, they have a 4 CD collection of their key albums that came out. I think it's between 82 and 88, maybe.
Okay.
That just got released in England. So I was like, I'm buying that. So I did. I bought it, and I'm really only familiar with a few of their songs. I don't know very much about them. I just know a couple of the hits from back in the day. And that's the thing. Like, I love getting a little box set and being able to listen to music from another era that I never thought I'd have the opportunity to really listen to.
For sure. No, that sounds great.
And not available on iTunes, but maybe now it is because they've done this re-release.
Yeah, there is certainly, and that issue with not being on iTunes and not being on demand is starting to, and not being on Netflix is starting to become an issue for film as well, for movies, specific movies. We were trying to find The Sixth Sense. It was around Halloween, and Shannon, my daughter, has started to show an interest in watching scary movies. We didn't want to start with something really gory, but something that's still scary. And I think The Sixth Sense fits into that category, especially with that twist. She would be very surprised by it, and I don't think it would be too scary for her. So I could not find it anywhere. Could not find it.
That's crazy.
I know. It's because everybody's seen it and everybody knows the twist, and there's no rewatchability there. There's maybe one time you can watch it again once. There's not really any other opportunity to rewatch that film and not okay, I know where this is going. After you know the twist, you rewatch it, you look for all the hints, you see all the hints, and then you're done. But there's a whole generation now that has not seen The Sixth Sense, so they need to re-release that. I think that's one that needs to kind of come out again.
That is absolutely one of the issues with the online world. This stuff comes and goes and can vanish.
I missed the video store, because when I worked at a video store, we had everything. It was on a very old selection. We had all the old movies that just sat there on the shelves. And
take your pick.
Come and watch it, and there was no issues. And I looked everywhere for a copy of The Sixth Sense and I could not find. Even I wanted to buy it on DVD just so I could have it, because I knew the DVD would be cheap, but couldn't find it anywhere. So all right, so my first thing, I'm getting very excited, and this won't be out till after Christmas, but it just dropped yesterday, the trailer and release date for Black Mirror season 4.
Oh, I can't
on
wait.
Netflix, and the trailer made no sense.
That's what we want, though.
I don't know. I don't care. It looks amazing.
I don't care either.
Only 6 episodes though, which is kind of disappointing.
Well, better that than let's wait another year.
Did they have 3 episodes one season? I don't remember. But last season, season 3 was like their longest with like 12.
Yeah.
So that was like their longest season. I was hoping for another season of that because it's been a while. It's been a year, more than a year. And these are like all different actors, different stories. So it's not like they have to shoot them all with the same people. They're all basically independently. They're short films, essentially.
Including one this time directed by Jodie Foster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So that looks good. So we got hints of some of the stories, but I'm just very excited. For months now, my wife has been asking me, when does Black Mirror come out? When does Black Mirror come out? And yesterday I saw the article, and I messaged her, and I said, here's the answer. Here you go. It's coming out December 28th. So a couple days after Christmas. That's what we're going to be doing, binging Black Mirror.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be really good. And we'll talk about it on the podcast.
We sure will.
Yeah.
Can we add to TV?
Sure.
Because I already mentioned Man in the High Castle, Mozart in the Jungle. So a couple of Amazon shows I've never seen. As well, this week, the New York Times recommended a show on Netflix called Norseman. Do you know about that?
No, I have not seen it.
It's a comedy version of the Viking shows and even Game of Thrones a little bit. I watched the first episode this week and I screamed with laughter. Where I was like, "This is gold," and that was only one episode.
Okay,
I don't know how many episodes it is, but it looks like if you just saw it on Netflix, you'd go, "Oh, it's another one of those Viking shows." Right. But it's not.
I watched the first season of Vikings and it was good, but I just could not. It was just another one of those heavy shows I could not keep on my list because it was so much other stuff going on. I will come back to it eventually. I'm sure it's a very good show. But I like comedy. There's not enough good comedy out there, so I would love to watch that.
And it's very Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh,
like it's
awesome.
very much like it's very funny and very like lots of funny stuff going on. And the Vikings coming back from their pillaging and they're coming back to the village kind of thing. And the guy who's been in charge is kind of incompetent in the village. So some very fun stuff in there.
There was some interesting yesterday on Legends of Tomorrow, which is one of my favorite shows. They did a funny bit with the Vikings, and it was because they travel through time. So they're back at the time of Leif Erikson, and they have, speaking of annoying holiday toys, the gimmick this time it was something called Bebo, which is meant to be like a Tickle Me Elmo kind of thing, and basically it's pulled back in time with them to the Viking age, to when Leif Erikson discovered North America. And they start to worship this toy as a god. It's pretty funny. So they did a little bit of fun, had some fun with Vikings as well. But
that's great.
But the one TV show, now I've watched the first episode of the new season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it is out there. It is like the 5th season of Fringe. Is it 5th season or 4th season of Fringe? 5th, right? They did 5 seasons.
I thought they did 4, but I might be wrong on that.
The last season of Fringe, you'll say that, was way different from anything else, right? Do you remember that? It took a left turn, hard left, into a different area. This is what they're doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They are in space. They are, in space. They are in the future. They are dealing with the Kree, which is something they've teased through the whole series, and now they're finally kind of doing this thing where they're like under the rule of the Kree, and they have to deal with this. So it's almost like a self-contained story in this one little season. It's for sure the final season, so I'm very excited about seeing where this goes. The other show that I'm going to get back on board with is Gotham, because now they're moving into the Dark Knight storyline. So I kind of fell off Gotham this last season. I just got sick of the Mad Hatter stuff, and it was just kind of getting bogged down. So I did not watch Gotham last season, but now I'm seeing promos on for it's called Gotham the Dark Knight, and that is now this second half of this season is focusing. It's like Batman Year One. That's kind of the inspiration for it. So it is a lot of what's his name, Commissioner Gordon. He's not a commissioner yet. He's still a cop. And then the kid, who's been a kid this whole time, I guess is starting to become a teenager, and now he's old enough to become Batman, I think. So that's where they're going with that. So cool. I'm excited about that one as well.
Cool. I got one more on my TV list, and that's Halt and Catch Fire. Do you know about that?
Yeah, I started watching it back when it was on, like when it first started. It seemed like an interesting idea, and it looked like they really captured the 80s well. Like, that's what I really liked about it.
It's about the launch of, I haven't watched an episode yet.
Oh, I watched the first couple of it, yeah.
Launch of computer?
Kind of, yeah. I think it's roughly based on kind of an Apple, Steve Jobsy kind of idea.
Right.
There's a character who's very much like Steve Jobs, where he's like kind of not really tech savvy, but is the inspiration and pushes them to get there. There's a kind of a nerdy programmer who's supposed to be like Wozniak. So it's not Apple. They're not telling that story, but it's very similar to that thing, that kind of idea. And I just, again, it was one of those. It was interesting. I heard they went. Maybe the first season wasn't as exciting, and that's why I fell off of it. But I've heard it's gotten really good Is it the final season now?
I've seen it. I don't know.
Okay. It's done. I don't think it's coming back. Whatever it is, it's
I've
done.
purposely not tried to stay away because I want to be surprised by it, but I've definitely seen it in like 10 best of lists already in terms of best TV.
Yeah, I heard
of the
it's
year.
getting really good.
Yeah, it must be.
So
okay, so that's it for TV.
yeah, so TV, lots to watch on TV.
I've got a big...
and by the way, Stranger Things. I've got a couple episodes left of Stranger Things, which I'll watch as well.
Ah, yes. We need to have a full conversation about that season. Yeah. Movies.
It's a tough one. I probably saw more movies this year than in the theater.
Well, Star Wars, we know.
Well, that's
Last Jedi.
Yeah,
we can't
Star
wait
Wars:
for that.
The Last Jedi. I've seen the other big ones for this season. I guess we're going to get into more Oscar kind of baity ones. We have The Disaster Artist. Is that something you're interested in seeing?
I'm not familiar with it. I don't know.
So The Disaster Artist is based on it's a true story of the making of The Room. Are you familiar with the movie The Room?
Oh, I know what you're talking
about.
Not Room. Yes.
The Room.
I know what you're talking about. I know the movie you're talking about.
I've never seen The Room. I've heard about it. Widely discussed as one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
But the story behind it is so fascinating. So this one is with James Franco playing the main character, Seth Rogen. They produced it. Seth Rogen was on, I think, Nerdist last week talking about it. And it seems like this really kind of funny story. You can come at it from the angle of never seeing The Room, see this movie, and then go see The Room. Or you can be somebody who's like one of those people who loves The Room for no discernible reason and then comes to see this. Either way it works, and apparently it's been, critics are loving it. Could be a little bit of Oscar bait and it would be an unusual Seth Rogen nominated for an Oscar. Come on.
Although
who could have predicted that?
I always think whenever there's something that kind of reminds me of the Johnny Depp movie,
Ed Wood.
Ed Wood.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking about.
The same kind of idea, and it's like I love the fact that nobody gets any kind of awards or recognition until you do a movie about
movies.
The piece of garbage.
But that's a classic Oscar bid, right? Make a movie about making movies. People love that because those are the people who vote.
They love it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm making a movie about Harvey Weinstein. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not making
somebody will.
Talk
somebody
about
will.
a movie that'll never, but
no, somebody will.
It's not going to win any Oscars, I'll tell you that much.
No, not at all.
No.
So that one, I think it will be interesting. I probably won't see it in the theater, but I'll rent it when it comes out.
I have a bunch of shows on my iTunes list and Netflix, and I'll just go. I'll go through them fast. Man Called Ove was the movie nominated for Best Foreign Film, and the book that was a bestseller. There it is, sitting on Netflix. It's free.
Oh, cool.
So I gotta see that.
It's not of. I thought it was of.
No, it's Ove.
Ove. Okay, good.
I didn't know that either until the Oscars. Well, that's how they called it. What they pronounced it at the Oscars. I assume they're right. And there's a documentary on iTunes called Obit about how the New York Times writes obituaries, which I'm excited to see. And that's on iTunes.
Okay.
Then there's the sequel to The Kingsman, which everybody hates and says it's a piece of garbage.
Did you see it? Oh, no, I will see it. I will see it.
I love The Kingsman, and I'm going to see the sequel, and it might ruin it for me, but I'm going to watch it.
I think if you have your expectations tempered a bit, like I didn't see Kingsman until it was out on demand, like way after everybody else saw it. And I was very pleasantly surprised because I did not expect Kingsman to be very good.
Yeah.
And it was very good. So I really enjoyed it. So I'm a similar thing. I'm not going with high expectations of this one. I'm hoping that it's pretty good. It doesn't have to be excellent.
I want a good, fun send-up of Bond movies, which is what the first one did.
Yeah, exactly what it was.
Did it so well. And then lastly, I've got two sort of last ones. One is one you recommended to me forever ago. It's a classic film called Failsafe.
Oh, God.
I have it sitting on iTunes. I'm watching it over the holidays.
Okay.
That's it. It's over for me. I'm just watching it.
Okay.
And then lastly, there is a film that I've been trying to see for I don't know. Roger Ebert listed it on on 1 year's best films. It's a short film, so you can't find it anywhere. And it's called Chicago Heights, and it's based on Sherwood Anderson's film, or a book rather, called Winesburg, Ohio. I love the book Winesburg, Ohio. I've been wanting to see Chicago Heights forever, and I can't find it anywhere. So this is where I shout out to people and go, where the hell do I find Chicago Heights, people? Where is it? I even went to the film website, and it hasn't been updated for a while. It's like one of those deals.
Yeah.
So Chicago Heights, if anybody has it on DVD, I'm happy to borrow it. I'll buy it off you even. Hey, you don't want it? I'll buy it off you. So I'm throwing it out there.
All right.
That's really what's in my queue on iTunes.
I'm actually going to take a stab and watch Valerian. I got really critically panned. I was at the checkout at my local grocery store, and I had a very nice young man who likes this. I don't know. It depends on my mood. Some days I like to strike up a conversation with the checkout person. Some days I don't.
Yeah.
This guy seemed very nice. He seemed very nerdy and kind of a cool kind of guy, like our type of guy. He's like, "Say, you see any good movies lately? And I said, well, I saw Justice League, and we talked about that. He's like, oh, I saw Valerian. I quite liked it. It was very visually stunning and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'll give it a shot. I mean, it was, critics hated it, didn't do well, but it was not a very well-known thing. It's a comic book that's popular in Europe, not popular here. It is Luc Besson, who is, maybe hit or miss. I have not seen, what was the other one he did recently? I don't know what I've seen of his. I've obviously seen the Professional and Fifth Element, which I like, but what was the other one he did?
Even
recently?
those never. They
never did. They were never critically acclaimed or
they
massive
never caught
hits.
me like they did lots of other people.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
They're not. But I do love the Fifth Element. That is one of my favorites of all time.
Even that one is not. It's not for me. But it could be that they advertise it as a new Star Wars.
Well, that's part of it,
right, I'm going, and then you go and you're like, well.
So I'm gonna watch Valerian. Just looking at seeing what's coming out this month as far as DVDs go. Dunkirk is coming out next week, so I'll probably go see Dunkirk.
I'm not going to see
it. I probably should have seen that in the theater. It's a war movie. We have the Lego Ninjago movie coming out. Mother is coming out. I saw Mother in the theater. That would be something I'd recommend to watch if you're interested.
That's on my list.
Really, really kind of weird movie. And then we have the Flatliners remake, which I will never, ever watch ever.
Me neither.
I don't know why they would ever think that would be a popular thing to do.
Because reboots are in.
They're not.
They will be forever.
They're not. They're not in. They don't do well. Like how do they justify Flatliners, Poltergeist? There was the other one. Total Recall, Point Break. There's been a bunch of them that do not work. That is just like low budget, no name actors. Let's get this out there and see if we can get some people in the theater the first weekend, and that's it. They never do well.
I came up with a great idea for a reboot this week, but it's not a reboot. It's like a sequel years later. You ready?
Yeah.
St. Elmo's Fire, the senior citizen years.
Oh, man.
So I was at...
that might work.
I know. It could be really good.
Yeah. It's like Grumpy Old Men meets St. Elmo's Fire.
It could be actually good. I was at Sobeys, and all the seniors day. The seniors were sitting against the window, and I was like, if I were really mean, I'd take a picture of this, and I'd put it next to the St. Elmo's Fire poster and go, look, they grew up.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. Because that'd be mean. But I thought about it, and the more I thought about it, the more like, that could actually be really, like Train Spotting tried to do that.
I never saw the second one.
Well, it's fine, but it's maybe it would have been even better if they would have waited another 10 years.
Here's the thing. Like, I remember that one. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, oh, this seems like a good idea. Got kind of excited about it. And then I heard nothing about it. Then all of a sudden I'm scrolling through on demand, and there it is. I'm like, when did this come out on demand? When did it come out in theaters? I don't even remember that.
It was
so in and out so fast. So again, maybe I'll try and watch that over the holidays.
It's worth seeing, I'll say, but there's some misstep. It's not as beautiful a film as the first one.
No,
Let's say that. But I think if they would have waited for those guys to be even older,
probably would have been better.
I think we might have had a deeper, better, more interesting story about what that one attempted to be.
Okay.
So, but still, worth seeing.
Okay, sounds good. What else?
I got a list of books.
Books, go ahead, yeah.
Harper Lee, the Lost Manuscript, Ghost Set of Watchmen. Well, gosh, how long has that been out? 3 years now or something?
Yeah.
And so I'm finally going to get to it. And then our student, William Rhoda, brought me a book called The Dharma of Star Wars. The Dharma of Star Wars. By Matthew Bertolin, I think his name is. And I think William's thing is Buddhism, but his other thing isn't Star Wars. So he brought me the book, and he was like, I don't want this back. Here you go. And he handed it to me, so I'm going to read that. And I'm reading a book right now that I can't wait to finish, and it's called Intimacy Idiot by Isaac Oliver. And it's like a book of short, funny essays, kind of like David Sedaris. And it came to my attention because the New York Times interviewed Nathan Lane. And Nathan Lane said, that is the funniest book I've ever read, is Intimacy Idiot. And I scream, like I'm laughing out loud as I read the book. And so I've read the first 4, and they're short, like super short chapters. So it's perfect for to sort of like sneak one in. And so far, I find it amusing. It's amusing. I haven't laughed out loud like Nathan Lane said I would, but the book is young, so
Yes.
I'm gonna keep going through that.
Okay,
book.
interesting. I'm gonna reread Ready Player One as I do every holiday season. That's a tradition now for me.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And then it'll be even better this year because the movie's coming out next year. So I'll be getting ready for that.
Read it before the movie wrecks it.
I'm a little worried. It is Spielberg, so I'm optimistic, but there's always a chance,
well,
right?
Spielberg. That means there'll be at least something will be worth seeing in that film.
Yeah.
But what I'm concerned about is how many of the rights to what we read in the book.
Talked about there's so many different properties in there. How much is it going to be? From the trailer, most of it seems to be under the Warner Brothers banner, which is the company that is producing the film. So, if they try to hedge on like Harry Potter and blah 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 and all the stuff under there, that might be awkward. Certainly, we're not going to see any X-Men or superheroes in there, or Marvel superheroes rather, because that's a Disney thing, not a Warner Brothers thing. What else? I want to read more Star Wars books this holiday season, so I'm going to try and catch up on the Aftermath trilogy, although it's painful to get through. I did attempt to read the second one through, listen to it through an audiobook. That didn't work out. I think I've got a couple of books on my Audible account. Not a huge audiobook guy. I'm trying to get more into it, but I have so many podcasts I listen to. I just don't ever get to them. But I they pulled that thing on you where they free trial, sign up, use the offer code, blah, 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 and get your free book. So I signed up for it. I put my credit card information in there, and then I forgot about it. So they charged me for a couple months before I remembered that I was still getting charged. But the cool thing is you can cancel your subscription and you still get the books. So I've canceled my subscription, but I still have credit for a number of books. So I'm going to try and consume some of this through audiobook. So we'll
that's
see.
great.
So maybe somebody can recommend a good audiobook to me. Like, to me, it all depends on it's about production value and about who's reading it and that kind of stuff. So the Star Wars ones have a lot of sound design in there because it sounds like a Star Wars movie. So there's that. But then if there's something interesting that I think would be like the Steve Martin one, which I listened to, was really good because Steve Martin narrated it. So
good point.
That's a good selling feature as well for me.
Yeah, I heard on a podcast somebody recommending an audiobook, and I can't remember what it was now, but it was just the concept of it. I was like, I need to hear that. But I can't remember who it was. It was probably a comedian or something.
If anybody wants to throw some names out to me on Twitter, let me know.
Likewise. I love it. I always say to students, like, if there's a book that I need to read, recommend me one, and I guarantee you I will read it. I won't read it right away necessarily, but I will get to it. I will read that book. So I love that. I love if people have recommendations for us.
All right, and that's pretty much. We're not going to do recommendations this week because we
covered
talked a bunch of stuff that we're going to consume. We will come back and give our review of these things or whatever in the episodes ahead as recommendations at some point.
And next week we'll do our best of 2017.
Best
what a long list.
Best and worst of 2017. We will come back and give you those. It's going to be tough because there were a lot of good stuff, but there was a lot of bad stuff as well. So we'll
a lot of celebrity deaths again.
Yeah, that's just going to keep happening.
That's the worst part of the end of year these days is like remembering the celebrities who died within that time span.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to, as you said last year, at this time last year, it's the age that we're at now. There are all these people who became celebrities in an era. Like they became famous when everybody was becoming famous. It was like much more prolific than it used to be.
Just a few media channels. So if you were famous, you're famous everywhere.
No, but not even that. But I'm talking about now there's more opportunity for people to become famous because there's more media channels.
Yeah.
So now going forward, it will be every year there will be a bunch of celebrities dying because there are more celebrities than there used to be. Before it was like the era of the 40s or 50s movie stars. You only saw there was a handful of them working for the same studios. Now it's like so many other options out there.
Yeah, but this year we definitely we'll be reminiscing about that. That's for sure. There's
absolutely, because we didn't get a chance to talk about it usually on the podcast.
No, because there was so many sort of classic people from the world of entertainment.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Media Nerds Podcast. Go to MediaNerdsPodcast.com for our full podcast, blog, and social media channels.